A Fox 5 I-Team investigation reveals new frightening numbers about an epidemic sweeping our state's public schools. Students who smuggle guns onto campus.
Well, last year, the I-Team provided the first real picture of how many guns end up in Georgia schools. In a 5-year period, we're talking about more than 300 handguns or rifles. Well, Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis returns now with some new numbers and some suggestions, Randy, from an unlikely source.
That's right, Russ and Lisa. We now know the total number of real guns or rifles seized from students in the last completed school year in Georgia. 71, some of them in elementary schools. So how do we reduce that number? Well, here's someone who should know.
This is home right now, huh? Yes, sir. Shawn Cox is big man on campus, the Coastal State Prison campus in Savannah.
What we're going to be doing is group discussion and role play.
The senior leader of a special program to rehabilitate offenders with addiction issues, Shawn will not be going back to a real school anytime soon.
I'm the first one since I've been incarcerated that's ever took a gun to school that I've met.
Is it in your hand, sweetie? In the head. He shot in the head.
Guns and schools, a dangerous combination that everyone agrees cannot be ignored. Last year, a Fox 5 I-Team analysis of state records revealed more than 300 guns discovered at Georgia schools in a 5-year period. We're talking 9mm, revolvers, 38 specials. Some of those students pulled the trigger, like the one who shot Telvis Douglas at Price Middle School in Atlanta back in 2013.
It really wasn't wondering about a gun getting in school, because it's at school. You should be safe there like you could be safe at home.
1 year later, we checked state records again. In the 2013-2014 school year, another 71 guns turned up in Georgia schools. The numbers aren't getting better. They're getting bigger.
But the reality is that they're walking right straight through those schoolhouse doors every day without anybody having any understanding about what may really be inside that book bag.
I've seen people take guns to school. I've taken it. I suffer the consequence.
Listen to Shawn's story and you begin to understand how easy guns can wind up in schools and what it might take to turn those numbers around.
Like a typical high school drama, this one involved a boy and a girl. Shawn saying that a girl he liked, he thought, had been sexually abused by a boy he knew. So in January 2012, Shawn woke up here determined to teach that boy a lesson. He snuck into his brother's bedroom, grabbed his brother's 9mm handgun from a dresser drawer, and then headed on to Tift County High School with 10 rounds of ammunition. Prepared, he said, to use them all.
If I pull the gun out, then there's no turning back. It's already out. If I shoot, then I'm going to keep shooting. I mean, I wasn't planning a Columbine, but that's the way that I keep thinking that it would have went, and I'm glad it didn't.
The plan was to confront the boy at lunch, but in first period, someone tipped off a teacher that Shawn had a gun. Deputies showed up and pulled him out of class.
Really, I didn't want to shoot nobody. I mean, I can't say that I would have or I wouldn't have because I didn't pull it out. And quite frankly, it's a great thing. I mean, God's gift that I got arrested.
Shawn grew up in Tift County playing football and soccer. Wanted to go to the University of Florida. Instead, he almost wound up murdering his classmates in the school cafeteria.
God saved me. I made a mistake and God saved me.
But how to save future students from future would-be shooters?
Well, here are some of Shawn's ideas. First of all, put metal detectors in every entrance in every school in Georgia. Already, Atlanta Public Schools and DeKalb have that in all the middle and high schools, but most school districts find that too expensive and unreliable. Another idea, make parents criminally responsible if their child takes an unsecured gun to school. Some states already have that law, but no one in the General Assembly is talking about that now. That leaves one final idea, perhaps the most important. Is it possible to stop guns from getting into schools these days?
I don't think so.
So Georgia School Police Chief Association President Mark Kissel says his people need to know when those guns arrive.
And if you go all the way back to Columbine, somebody knew that those kids had those weapons to begin with and that there were plans being made. And most oftentimes, nobody wants to get involved in the picture.
In every Cherokee County school, posters urge students to call police if they think someone has a gun. A special number that guarantees anonymity and rings straight back to school police headquarters in Canton. There's also a toll-free state number that can be used for any Georgia school.
You don't know the name of the student who turned you in?
No, I didn't even know. Like, I heard that somebody had said something, but I don't know how they found out. I'm glad it happened.
So is this community, happy to avoid being included on a list of school tragedies that seems to get longer every school year.
If a kid's out there thinking about taking a gun to school, then
draw strength from each other.
They should look at my situation. I'm in prison now for something I did 3 years ago.
We've posted that complete list of school guns on our Facebook page and on our website, myfoxatlanta.com. We have it broken down by county and by individual schools. It's a long list.
Yeah, I want to look at it. Are there any penalties in place for students who simply bring a gun to school?
Well, Shawn Cox, he was sentenced to 90 days in a work camp. But of course, he's in prison right now because he violated his probation. So he's essentially been in custody for the last 3 years. Now, he thinks he has a handle on his anger because of that program we featured briefly there in our story, and he's ready to get out. He says he has a job lined up, and he says every day he thanks God that somebody told on him because his crime could have been far more serious.
Yeah, don't turn and look the other way.